63 points. That's the gap standing between Ross Chastain and the chase spot with 2 races left on the schedule. And here's the wild part. He just strung together back-to-back solid finishes, and it still wasn't enough to close the distance. If you're a Trackhouse fan, this is the moment where hope and panic are sitting in the same seat. Chastain finished 12th at Richmond in the Cookout 400. That comes right after a 7th place run at Iowa the week before, 2 respectable finishes in a row, something this team hasn't been able to say for most of the season. But while Chastain was quietly building momentum, Austin Cindric was doing damage. Cindric's 3rd place finish at Richmond shook up the playoff bubble and pushed Chastain further behind the cut line. Chastain now sits 63 points back of the final transfer spot, a spot currently held by his own teammate, Shane Van Gisbergen. 2 races remain before the Chase Field rocks in New Hampshire, then Daytona. To understand why this stretch matters, you have to look at where Chastain started the year. 23 races in, and the number 1 car had produced just 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s all season. For a driver and organization that expect to be in playoff contention every year, that's not a slow start, that's a genuine crisis. Then Iowa happened. A 7th place run bumped him from 21st to 18th in the standings in a single weekend. That result did more than add points. It gave a struggling team something to point to, proof that the speed hadn't disappeared. Just the results. Richmond followed that up. No top 10, but a 12th place finish that beat both his teammate Van Gisbergen and RFK's Ryan Preece on the track. In a locker room that's been searching for answers all summer, beating direct rivals head-to-head means something, even outside the box score. The problem is timing. NASCAR's playoff format doesn't care about a team trending upward if the calendar runs out first. Here's where this story gets genuinely interesting from a strategic standpoint. Chastain's own words tell you everything about where his mindset is right now. It called a top 10 finish getting on base, a phrase that signals patience, not panic. That's notable because the math says patience might not be the right approach anymore. 63 points with 2 races left isn't a gap you close to steady, incremental finishes. Points racing works when you're inside striking distance. Chastain isn't. He's outside the range where consistency alone gets the job done. That's exactly why his own statement after Richmond is the real headline here. He said the plan now is to go for the win at New Hampshire. That's a meaningful shift in strategy, even if it wasn't framed as one. Is that smart or is it risky? Both, honestly. A win-or-bust approach in New Hampshire raises the odds of a big mistake, an aggressive move gone wrong, a torn-up race car. But it's also the only mathematically honest strategy left. Playing it safe when you're this far back isn't caution. It's just a slower way to miss the playoffs. The version of this story that gets overlooked, this is now a 2-front problem. Chastain isn't just racing the field. He's racing his own teammate for the last transfer spot. That adds a layer of internal tension that Trackhouse will have to manage carefully over the next 2 weeks, especially if both cars are fighting for position late in a race. Expect a split reaction here. Optimists will point to the upward trend, 2 solid finishes, a driver clearly locked in, a team that looks like it finally found something in the setup. That's a real story, and it's one plenty of fans will run with heading into New Hampshire. The skeptics will look at the number 63 and shrug. In a sport where playoff math is brutally simple, a team's internal momentum doesn't always translate to external results. Analysts covering the playoff picture will likely frame Chastain as a long shot. Emphasis on long. Both reactions are fair. That's what makes this a compelling storyline instead of a settled one. Best case, Chastain goes aggressive at New Hampshire. The number 1 car has the speed to back it up, and he steals a win, walking in a chase berth outright and making the points gap irrelevant. Suddenly, Trackhouse has 2 cars in the playoffs and real momentum walking into the postseason. Worst case, the aggression that a must-win mentality requires backfires. A crash, a mechanical issue, or simply getting outrun late costs him a shot at Daytona too, and a season of steady improvement ends with the number Tanya. One team on the outside looking in, a frustrating footnote to what was actually a strong second half. So here's the real question heading into New Hampshire. Does Ross Chastain play it safe and hope the math somehow works out, or does he swing for the fences and risk it all on one aggressive weekend? Drop your prediction in the comments. Best case or worst case? Which one are you betting on? If you want to see how this plays out, stick around and subscribe because this chase bubble story is only getting more intense from here.